雪峰给禅院草父母的公开信 An open letter to the parents of Chanyuan Celestials. Xiefeng. February 29th, 2020. Translated by Chanyuan and edited by Kayer. Thread in the hands of a loving mother. Makes clothes for the body of her wayward boy. Carefully she sews and thoroughly she mends, dreading the delays that keep him out late. But how much love has the inch-long grass to pay for the spring sunlight it receives? Whose son is this, not crazy or mad? Who's joined the Taoists in the Wangwu Mountains? The white-haired mother wailing at the door, pulling her son's sleeves to keep him home. Blessed are my parents. They brought me up with toil. Mother, you gave me birth. Father, you brought my food. You cared for me and loved me. You carried me everywhere, even while visiting your friends, and never wanted to leave me alone. I can never hope to repay such great love after the disaster came and heaven robbed you from me. Greetings to all parents of Chanyuan Celestials. Once a son and now a father, I understand both the love of parents and of their children. I do not share the feeling of thinking of the vastness of heaven and earth. I shed tears with sorrow. But I share the feeling of how to get tens of thousands of spacious and tall houses to shelter the poor scholars in the world and make them laugh, nor the ambition of knowing that you cannot do it, but trying your best. My purpose is to reap the ripe crops and bring in the life of Chanyuan era to the common people in the world so that parents everywhere can live and work in peace and enjoy happy lives in their old age, and their children will smile and no longer worry. Today, I have something to discuss with you along with some advice for you. Your sons and daughters have become Chanyuan Celestials and want to live in a new oasis for life. But you are worried that they are being deceived and even more worried that they will cause you trouble and pain in the future. Of course, you are also worried that after your children leave, no one will provide for you when you are old or bury you when your time comes. Your worry is not unreasonable, and I understand deeply your worries about your children and your own futures. First of all, I want to explain that becoming Chanyuan Celestials and living in the new oasis for life will not harm your children. I know that you will not trust my words alone, but I have proof. The new oasis for life was established in April 2009 and has existed for nearly 11 years, and over that time nearly 200 Chanyuan Celestials have lived here. If even one person had been harmed here, the government would have arrested me, and the new oasis for life would not have been maintained and would have fallen apart many years ago. Chanyuan Celestials range from 4- and 5-year-old children to seniors in their 80s. If life at Chanyuan had existed for deception, then ask yourselves what the purpose would have been to cheat such a wide variety of people. If illegal activities were operating in the home, the government's nearly 600 investigators who visited us would have announced their findings to the news media and ended it right there. The fact is that the government has not arrested any of us, let alone restricted any of our freedoms. You can ask any Chanyuan Celestial who has ever lived in the home about this. And if any of them say that he or she has been deceived or hurt in any way, you would have a good reason to not trust life at Chanyuan any longer and to sue me, Xiefeng. If you would like to know why your children are so eager to live with us in the new oasis for life, it is because our life is a special, near heavenly one that has never existed throughout human history before. It is hard for words to describe the significance and beauty of life at Chanyuan. It is one that people who live in the traditional production and life order cannot imagine. And it is because of its beauty that your sons and daughters yearn for it and choose to remain here. I want to explain further that Chanyuan values require that Chanyuan Celestials always remember their parents and show filial piety. We will not accept anyone who does not remember this as Chanyuan Celestial, let alone to allow him to enter and live in our community with us. If you think that your children are being unfaithful to you because they live in the new oasis for life, then you can complain to me and they will be persuaded strongly to leave the home and go back to you. Maybe it is because of my different standards of judgment that in my eyes, your children are excellent. They are wise, kind, hardworking, honest, and motivated. Every Chanyuan Celestial is a gem-quality person in my eyes, and I love each of them. Perhaps I love your children more than you do as parents. I am not boasting. You can ask them. Would you believe that nearly half of the young people in our home were brought in or sent to us by their parents? Please consider why their parents would have sent their dear and lovely children to this home. When you understand that these parents are not stupid, you will no longer fear that your sons and daughters will be deceived or harmed when they enter our home. I have this word of advice for you. When your children want to enter and live in the home, you should not stop them because very few are qualified to enter. The requirement standards to enter are very high and few can succeed. That being said, for your children to be able to join us, you must have accrued spiritual wealth from a previous life. You cannot give your children the happiness that I can, and you cannot guarantee your children's futures as I can. When your children enter the home, they are not leaving you forever because you can visit them and see how they are living at any time. Your idea of life is nothing more than wanting your children to get married, raise families, have careers, support you in your old age, and then bury you. It is nothing more than letting your children flourish, glorify, and illuminate your ancestors in secular society in order to prevent your friends, relatives, and neighbors from making undesirably remarks. You are walking down your road, your parents have walked down it, your grandparents have done the same, and others before them have been doing it for thousands of years. Tell me about it. Have you never considered this to be an unnecessarily difficult path to follow, and have you never considered the possibility that there is a smoother road to walk? Would you like to offer your beloved children an alternative path to follow? Pity the parents of the world. But who pities the children of the world? Children are not heartless. I was abroad once for 8 years and never visited my parents' home during any of that time. I missed my parents day and night and wanted to be with them. But since you are on the earth, you cannot do everything that you want to. Reality is much crueler than the ideal. If you are not careful, then you risk losing all of your previous efforts. As with climbing a cliff, once you start climbing, there is no possibility of turning back. It is only by climbing to the top that you will have the opportunity and capital to repay your parents for their favors and to thank all those who have helped you. When your children are climbing this mountain, as parents, you should not be dragging them down and shouting for them to come down quickly. The consequences would be horrible if you did that because they would blame you for the rest of their lives for ruining their futures. Finally, I will talk about the old age care of Chanyuan, Celestial's parents. In fact, I considered this question 10 years ago, especially with regards to single-child families. I will never let them spend their old age bleakly or in distress. My ambition is to let every Chanyuan, Celestial's parents, spend their final years well. This plan has not been realized because the home has suffered during this period of time. Once the government acquiesces to life at Chanyuan and stops suppressing us, I assure every Chanyuan, Celestial's parents, that I have a plan to let you enjoy your old age and happiness. I wish all Chanyuan, Celestial's parents in the outside world healthy, happy, and long lives. I pray for the greatest creator to grant each of you many blessings. 宣告，不再为禅院草父母考虑其养老问题. The care of Chanyuan Celestial's elderly parents can no longer be offered. Xiefeng. March 1st, 2020. Translated by Qin Yu and edited by Kayer. A 26-year-old Chanyuan, celestial woman who joined us recently wanted to come and live with us in our home, although we no longer have any branches in mainland China. We do have branches in Thailand and Canada, but residence visas can be difficult to obtain for Chinese people in both of those countries. She had only expressed her wish. One day, this woman's mother sent me a message saying that if my child does not return home tonight, our family is considering reporting you to the authorities. My child was very good until you brainwashed her. In short, no matter how long it takes, and no matter where she is, we must have our child back. Maybe you do not care, but whatever you have done has hurt my child, and we will not let this rest. I will wait for her tonight, but if she does not return by then, we will call the police in the morning. Last night, the police told us that if our child is not returned by tonight, then we can call them again directly. I will go online to look for you and your life at Chanyuan. In addition, I will convene microblog, the media, and the public to look for you together. I was confused and contacted the woman at once to ask her what was going on. She explained that she had gone to work outside the city, and I responded that she needed to contact her parents as soon as possible because they were worried about her and concerned for her safety. Then I immediately wrote back to her mother. Dear ma'am, I am CFing, the founder of Life at Chanyuan. I just learned about your situation, your worries and concerns, and I can appreciate your love and concern as the mother of your daughter. I will cooperate with you and ask your daughter to place filial piety as her first priority. Since you have objected so strongly, we will not accept her to come to live in the new oasis for life. You can rest assured of this. Wishing good health, peace, and happiness for your family. To alleviate the conflict, I wrote quickly, CFing's open letter to the parents of Chanyuan Celestials, hoping that this woman's parents would understand Life at Chanyuan and stop worrying about their daughter. Unfortunately, the woman's father read my letter and replied, any sensible person can see at a glance that this is all brainwashing gobbledygook. I see it as childish nonsense, and I believe none of it. I only believe what I hold in my hand. At the same time, he warned his daughter, once you enter the Chanyuan home, you will be locked up with no chance to run away and will suffer much. They might even sell you into sexual slavery abroad. Consider what I have said carefully before you make such a stupid decision. Then he sent his daughter this ultimatum. First, we want you to come home to end our family relationship. Then you can live your fairy tale life, and we will live our civilian life. Second, I have reported this to the police, and they will be investigating everything, and they will find you wherever you go. I was completely speechless. What was going on here? I replied, your daughter has gone to work. Why would you suspect that Life at Chanyuan has kidnapped her? Calm down and learn more of the facts before doing something that you will regret later. Besides, your daughter is a 26-year-old adult woman. Why do you still treat her as if she were a 12 or 13-year-old child? I have no intention of commenting on these confused parents. Everyone has their own perspective and knows that they are right. Who can say that they are wrong? But this incident reminds me of Jesus Christ's warning to us from Matthew 10, verse 36. A person's worst enemy shall be the members of their own household. Since my founding of Life at Chanyuan, I have suffered countless attacks, insults, verbal abuse, ridicule, sarcasm, and threats, especially from the secular relatives of Chanyuan Celestials. The secular parents of Chanyuan Celestials scold me. Their children scold me. Their husbands and wives scold me. Even their secular brothers and sisters scold me. None of the Chanyuan Celestials' secular parents have offered me a single word of encouragement or affirmation, while the 9 picturesque homes that we created were all destroyed. Of course, there are no wronged souls in the world. I cannot blame anyone but myself, but I also have my right to fight for freedom. I declare that from this point forward, I will no longer consider caring for any Chanyuan Celestials' elderly parents. Scold me and threaten me. I deserve it, but so do you. Only the gods, Buddhas, Celestials, and saints are crying.